I'm Mack Fisher, and I'm here today to give a basic tutorial on using Aalto inside Mack's MSP. First, I'll show you how to convert some numbers generated by Max into MIDI notes that Aalto can understand. Then I'll show you how to modulate parameters externally from within the Mack's MSP environment. This tutorial assumes you've had some basic experience with Mack's MSP before, so if this starts to become confusing, I suggest downloading the patch I've included and viewing each object's help or reference documentation to understand what's going on. So, let's get started sending in some MIDI notes. Okay, go ahead and start with a blank patcher. Make a new object. It's going to be a VST tilde object, so we can load in Aalto into Mack's MSP. And we're going to make the plug message so we can load in the Aalto VST itself. I prefer the VST over the AU just in terms of modulating Aalto externally. And then you're going to want to make an open message so we can view Aalto once it's loaded. And if you open it and you still see that it says OSC is connected on the left, it's okay. It's just because the DAC hasn't started yet. It hasn't loaded properly. Next, we're going to set up our audio output. So I'm going to make a live gain just so I can monitor what's coming out of Aalto before it hits our audio out. I'm just going to use an easy DAC object so we can hear what's going on. Turn that on right now. Clean things up a little bit. Now, I'm going to skip the whole just tough numbers part about converting numbers in and just go straight to the help file. And they've done it perfectly, so why don't we just copy what they've done and load that into our patch. And this converts kind of Max's numbers into MIDI data that it can understand. So if you just connect the prepend MIDI event to VST, we should have audio. And you can see the MIDI data come out of the print box as well. And the make note is going to be sending our proper note on and off messages. If you wanted to, you could just put in a note in object right now and send data from a MIDI controller straight into the join, which would be your MIDI keyboards and whatnot. But for this, we're going to use Mack's objects to make notes and do cool things for us. So I'm going to kind of clean things up here, move things closer to the VST object so things don't get too disorienting. And we're going to make a random object to generate a random number between a range, and we're going to go with 128 because MIDI is 0 to 127, including 0, it's 128 values. So copy this and we can connect that to our velocity as well as our note input on the key slider. And if you make a bang, we should be able to bang these objects and you will hear random values coming out. And you can see that Aalto is going to be picking up this information like it was in Ableton or just any other conventional VST host. And we can make a metro object which will send out the bangs for us at a given interval. I'm going to go ahead with 1 second. Make a toggle so we can turn this on. And every second you get a note. And that's how you send note information into Aalto. Now we're going to try sending some messages into our VST object, Aalto, to take over some parameters using Max. So using our old patch we just created, go ahead and make a params message, and this will bang the data, the information on the names of the parameters into our max window via its third outlet. So if you make a print names object, it will send the information into the max window once we click it. And you can see here that it gives us all the names, and we can now make messages using these names to control things at our will. I'm going to choose key glide just because it's a parameter that you can't modulate inside Aalto by itself. So I thought it'd be a cool one to use. And I'm going to type key underscore glide 1, and that should send it at full value, send it to 100% when you click. Values are going to be between 0 and 1 or 1 and -1, and you can, depending on the value. So if we connect this and click it, we should see that our key glide value over here has gone up to full. And if you go and replace the 1 with a $1, you can replace those values with numbers sent into it. So if we make another random 128 object and divide that by 128 decimal point, the decimal point's super important and allows you to get values between whole numbers, which we need. And if I make a bang here to trigger it, and then a floating number object so we can see what number's going through it, it will give us a random key glide value at every bang. And if you connect that to our original Metro bang, you get a random note and a random key glide on every trigger. Using this information, you can start to combine the limitless possibilities of Mack's MSP with Aalto's next level of synthesis. It's also worth mentioning these steps can be used to take over Kaivo when it becomes available as well. I hope this has helped you understand Aalto inside Mack's. Thank you.